What's up, Sag, and welcome to your July 2020 Creativity Tarot reading. My name is Kaylee Jean, and welcome to my channel. I record these readings for artists, entrepreneurs, and anybody who's really interested in their personal growth, self-expression, or spirituality in any form. So if those areas of life are important for you right now, I encourage you to go ahead and keep watching. I also want to say, because I get asked this a lot, you can use this reading for your sun, moon, or your rising sign. You can use all three of them if you want, if you have three. And it's normal if sometimes they don't resonate. They are just general readings, so from time to time it may not connect with your energy. And it's also possible if sometimes they resonate more at the end of the month. So if you don't feel like it resonates in the beginning, you can always come back and try it out again at the end of the month and see where your energy may fit into the collective. All right, Sagittarius. So as I was tuning in for you, I got a really zen feeling, and I honestly think you guys are really in your zone in July. Like, there's just something about your approach that I feel like you've really recentered yourself on what works for you, okay? I feel like you are at this point in your life as a business person, as a creator, as, you know, maybe even like a singer or whatever kind of artist you may be, because a lot of times my readings are for people who are doing things like that. I think you've really refocused on your craft. And I don't know if you got off focus like for some reason recently, but I feel like you've really come back to your craft itself. And I think that one of the most comforting realizations that you're having right now is that you know what you have to do in order to succeed in whatever attainment of goals you're going after, whether it's financial or personal or, you know, whatever. It doesn't matter what you're going for, Sag. I just feel like there's this real sense of like having locked back into your center almost. And that's giving you a real sense of zen as you look at your life, because you're like, oh, right, like I do know what I'm doing. Like, it's that kind of feeling. So again, I'm not sure if some of you were like struggling with that at all recently, or if it's just, you know, another undulation, another like more powerful wave of self-confidence that's hitting you at a very deep level. So it's not hubris, it's not pride. It's more like a deep-seated sense of sovereignty, and a sense that like you do know what you have to do to solve whatever problems you have. And so with that awareness comes this almost peaceful recognition of life. Like, you don't have to worry about as much because you just have the strength and the competency to deal with whatever comes your way. So it's just a real nice kind of quiet zen energy. And you may find that, you know, if you're resonating with this and you feel like you've recently come to some realizations along those lines, you may benefit from kind of sharing your energy a little bit more in July, because there could be other people around you who are not in that place, you know, and sometimes just your presence and just your approach is enough to really communicate the potential of somebody else around you to begin to feel that way as well. So don't underestimate your ability to positively impact other people through simply the attitude that you are taking in your life. Okay, so let's take a look at your cards. Okay. Let's take a look at your path and the obstacle. We've got octopus, crossed by the tarantula. Wow. So this is interesting because both of these creatures symbolically represent like a central point with spokes or appendages coming out of it. So think of like a wheel. Both of these creatures have wheel type symbolism in them because they both are like a central creature with legs that go all the way around the central part. So yeah, this is fascinating. And the number 8, because both of these creatures have 8 legs, or like in the octopus's case, they're tentacles. But wow. Yeah, this is really important. This symbolism of the number 8, this sense of a wheel and a central kind of point out of which radiates, potential pathways, perhaps, or potential options. I think that some of you are, like I said in the meditation about kind of reorienting yourself in terms of your like an understanding of your sovereignty. For me, that really is about coming back to your center, right? Like I think I even used that phrase. And here we have these two creatures who very much have that symbolism kind of worked into their anatomy, right? It's like the center point and then everything else that kind of emits outward from that. So it's going to be really important for you to be centered in your approach, whatever you're doing this month, Sag. If you are finding yourself feeling kind of like you're not sure what you want to do, then this is not the time to act. I want to say this is a time to really find your center and stay rooted in that center place. And then from there, once you have that awareness of what you want to do kind of rising up from within you, then that's the time to make the actions or take the steps. I think that this is going to be a time of great synchronicity for you because we have these themes of many different lines kind of all meeting in a central point, which is also, for me, a metaphor for synchronicity. So you could be feeling like you say something, you say a particular word or express an idea, and then all of a sudden you start seeing that like everywhere, or you encounter maybe even like the example that's coming to mind is of a road runner, which is really random, but if you see like a road runner or a specific kind of bird or a specific kind of animal, you might start to see that creature like in images a lot more this month. Yeah, there's like a sense of crossroads in a way that's really coming through strongly for you, Sag. And it's important, I want to say, for you to really not get too stuck on the past and not get too stuck on the way that doing things would make you feel comfortable, I guess, because the octopus, that's one drawback of the octopus is like we can feel attached to doing things the way that we've always done, and then that can sometimes mean that we're not opening ourselves up to new experiences. But the tarantula gives you the medicine for that because the tarantula card is all about your dharma. Essentially, it is about your service to the world. It's also about being at a crucial change point in your life where your purpose is what needs to guide you, right? It's about your overall life purpose, and thinking about that in broad terms is still really helpful. Like maybe you feel that your purpose on some level is to nurture young people. Maybe that's just like a really broad way that you can do that, and you can do that through being a tutor, you can do that through being an actual teacher, you can do that through raising children of your own. There's a lot of different ways that that purpose can like take on different masks. You could write children's books, or you could, work in a sector of government that relates to education. There's so many different things ways that you could live out that purpose, right? So it could be something along those lines. It could be like just thinking in broad strokes what it is that you're here to do. Are you here to uplift people? Are you here to make a difference to people who are underserved? Are you here to help with creating more jobs, like as an entrepreneur? Just think about what your purpose is overall, and then let that guide you. Because I think that's going to be the most useful way of growing moving forward. Okay, so Ace of Swords, Page of Wands, Six of Cups, and Eight of Cups, with the Fool, the Knight of Wands, the Page of Cups, and the Three of Wands. So it's funny that I mentioned kind of working around or for topics related to like young people and helping to uplift young people in some way, because we have 2 pages and the Six of Cups, which are all cards that pertain to like the years of childhood, basically. So for some of you, this is going to be like metaphorical, and it could relate even to kind of just being more playful in your everyday life. Tapping into that inner child kind of energy being really important for just giving yourself permission to think up new ideas and to be dynamic and creative. Sometimes we have to kind of enter back into the inner child mindset. And actually, Carl Jung believed that that was the last phase of maturation in adulthood, or like the last phase of like middle adulthood, basically, was re-engaging with the inner child. Once you've kind of gone through this whole process of like, okay, I'm an adult, I've taken out loans, I've like bought and purchased a house or cars, or I've had this job, I've had these stresses, I'm like feeling the pressures of adult life, and then but that reaches its culmination in terms of like holistic personal growth once the adult is able to sort of harness the childhood self and bring the childhood self back into the present moment and let it live, even while at the same time maintaining an adult approach to life and taking responsibility, taking accountability, and rising to meet the demands of life itself. So, but retaining that spark of, the inner child at the same time. That is the true mark from Carl Jung's perspective. That's the true mark of real mature adulthood, right? It doesn't just leave the childhood in the past. It brings it into the present and lets that live. And sometimes you have to bring joy into your life in order to do that. And I feel like July is a time where it's going to be important for you to do that. So interestingly, we have this lunar eclipse in Capricorn, which is in your 2nd house, symbolically, Sagittarius. So that's going to be potentially bringing in some change when it comes to your finances, potentially for some of you. And with the Ace of Swords and the Page of Wands happening, around that time when we do have that lunar eclipse, this could represent a new path when it comes to financial abundance for you. So you could be employing new strategies, you could be turning a hobby into a side business, or you could be studying something that's eventually going to become a source of income for you. When I look at these cards, it is about new ideas, first of all, with the Ace of Swords, and new ideas that are authentic to you and genuinely inspiring for you, and that generate passion for you, which is the Page of Wands. So this is a time of new growth, actually, for you, Sag, and I think it's important that you pursue whatever this is. Now, the Six of Cups and the Eight of Cups come through in the 2nd week of July. And the way that these are set up is like the two kids on the Six of Cups are, sort of behind the person on the Eight of Cups who's walking away from them visually, from my perspective. So he's walking away from this situation of childhood. Or, we could look at the Six of Cups symbolically and say that some of you could be walking away from a situation that has that sense of security to it. I don't know if this is like an experience that everyone has had. I mean, hopefully, but there were times when I remember being a child and feeling like I was in a safe environment. And I didn't always have that feeling, so maybe that's why it was noticeable when I did. But there's something with the Six of Cups that feels like just the warmth and security, like there's walls all around. Like I picture this as almost like a garden, and there's sort of walls all around. And it's a bright sunny day, there's good things going on, there's people that have genuine affection, there's an adult walking away in the background, so there's other people around, the sun is shining, it's like a beautiful situation. So it's kind of making me tap into this idea of, it's making me tap into this feeling, I guess, of when you're little and you're not aware of the challenges of life that much. You're not as aware of the difficulties that are going on that the adults have to face that you as a child don't even know about. So there's like a sense of, maybe you could call it naive innocence, but you could also call it just a part of a necessary stage of life, right? Where we are kind of blissfully ignorant of things. But it's because we wouldn't, like, there's no point in us knowing about that anyway. Like, the point is just to be a child and play and run around and learn how to cut paper and stuff like that. So there's something about this, though, with, like, the person, the way that I switched it up, but the way that this person on the Eight of Cups is walking away from the Six of Cups, it makes me feel like some of you could be, like, traveling away from a home that you really love. It could also mean that some of you are choosing to walk away from a situation that has given you a relative amount of security in some fashion, but it's because you're ready to take more risk in your life. It's because you know that if you want to grow, you have to kind of get some skin in the game a little bit, and you have to find a way to embrace new lessons and new challenges. So there's a sense of like, you don't have to leave your comfort zone forever, Sag, if this is like a real comfort zone energy for you. You don't have to leave your comfort zone forever, but what I will say is like little bouts of time where you go out of your comfort zone and then you have the ability to come back into it. That is a really good way to like put your toe in the water, so to speak, or just frame like new projects that you're working on and things like that that might be more risky for whatever reason. Just remember to like frame it in a way that you're like, okay, I'm gonna go out of this like safe zone and I'm gonna do my thing, and then I'm gonna come back into my relative state of security, whatever that is, and it could be symbolic as well. But I do think that this is like about you really making the choice to walk away from or just venture out of a situation of naive security or blissful ignorance in some way, shape, or form, but you're doing that consciously. So it's a good thing. That's like one of the marks of adulthood, is like being able to step out of those situations of safety or of just doing things the same way, and at the same time being able to embrace that with a sense of adventure and a sense of joy as well. So we definitely see that like echoed in the third week. You are feeling even more validated that this venturing forth into a new realm of life, a new realm of experience is the right thing for you. So the third week of July, I'm gonna say, is really beneficial for you to just keep going with whatever you're doing. I think there's going to be a lot of momentum for you. There's going to be a sense of being able to make a lot of progress, and most of that progress is going to be made by kind of having an open mind, Sagittarius. So if you have a lot of experience in your life, like if you've gathered a lot of experience, utilize that wisdom that you've gained, but also don't let it block you off from defining things differently if you come across different information that resonates deeply with you, even if it contradicts what you've experienced in the past. This is about like really making progress with an open heart and an open mind. All right. The last week of July, we have Page of Cups and the Three of Wands. So there's a real, again, sense of adventure with these cards. I think that you are going to receive some kind of a supportive gift around the end of July. And we do have a new moon in Cancer at 28 degrees of Cancer, which is technically going to fall symbolically in your 8th house. So when you have a new moon in Cancer in your 8th house, it kind of relates to, especially with these cards, the 8th house can relate to like taxes, other people's money, your tax return, money that comes to you unexpectedly, as in not necessarily through your own efforts, but through kind of like the universe. And it can also represent expenses that are along those lines as well. But as I'm looking at this, I feel like this is more of a receiving energy than it is about like a giving or like unexpected expenses. I think this is more about something being, some kind of support being given to you. And it could come from the universe, it could come symbolically. But I do feel like there's something in these cards that really has to do with kind of receiving some kind of divine inspiration, or maybe even some support coming to you in your life in some way, shape, or form. And it's helping you to move forward. So there's a real sense of optimism at the end of July, which makes sense because the sun will be ingressing into Leo. And at that point, we're going to have, you know, a lot of sunny energy, a lot of fiery energy for you, which is going to be very much in alignment for you. Okay, the Bob Ross message is, let's get crazy, what the heck, take a 2-inch brush, this is your bravery test. I love this card, I absolutely love this card, I love this message so much, and it's really about, you know, not being afraid to paint in broad strokes with a 2-inch brush. You know, it's that sense of like, whoa, what am I doing? What am I doing here? And I think in life, you know, that's what we're seeing. That's what we're seeing in your cards, with that sense of like walking away from the naive safety of the Six of Cups, the beautiful energy of the Six of Cups, and being an adventurer, which is like, that's your heart anyway, Sag. Like in your heart, you are an adventurer. You are, if you're given the choice of freedom over security, Sagittarian is always going to choose the freedom for the most part, unless they've got like a lot of things in the chart that that negate Sagittarian qualities. But Sagittarius as an archetype is, I mean, you're the archer. You are the seeker. You are the one who seeks new experiences and wants to know. I think I mentioned this before on this channel, but the word sagitta in Latin is arrow, but it comes from the same root as the verb in Spanish, saber, which is to know. So the arrow is symbolic of the piercing mind, the power of the mind that pierces into reality, seeking knowledge. And it's also closely related to like the way of describing sabor as well, like flavor. So to know has this tasting quality, like you are a taster of life. You crave the taste of your life. You crave experience. You crave this ability to experience life and then reflect upon it and come, to in your later years, it's almost like you are like seasoned wine. Like you just have this rich, Sagittarians have such a rich kind of quality as they go through life and have experiences. They become just flavored by them. You know, they have, it's just so true. I've noticed this about like Sagittarius rising people and Sagittarius sun people in my life. Like as they get older, they just, it's like a wine, like they just get better because they taste life. You know, they really go into it and they experience it. Like they close their eyes and freaking just, like savor it. And you guys, you have the gift of doing that. And it's a gift for everyone else around you because we benefit from your ability to absorb the complexity of life and then explain it to us. So just kind of went on like a little Sagittarius love note tangent there. Now you guys know how I feel about you. Let's get your surrender card. Surrender to what is. So you've got, it says, flow with what is instead of fighting it. When you can't change a situation, compassionately accepting it exactly as it is will bring you peace. Beautiful. So that's your message to surrender this month. Thank you so much for being here, Sag. I hope this reading has given you something useful. If you want to let me know that you're still with me, I absolutely love getting those messages from you guys. Leave me a little fire emoji or just write fire down below because we're going into fire season in July and it's going to be amazing for you. So I'm super happy about this reading. I think it's going to be a really beautiful month, and I just hope that you guys take care of yourselves and have an amazing month in July. If you would like to support my channel, you can always like this video, subscribe to notifications, and also you can choose to donate. I'll put the link to donate any amount to this channel as well. You can also buy any of these decks that I've used today, and I will put all the links, which are affiliate, below. So if you want to support my channel and treat yourself to a new deck, definitely check that out. Also, we have the money workshop. It's a wealth building workshop for healers and creators, which is coming up in July. So I will put the information on that below. Sending you tons of love and light, you guys. Take care, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.